Good evening, and welcome to Grathstem Castle, a silent, crumbling sanctuary, cloaked in the pain of more than 400 years, a whispering fortress of ever-bearing runes. If you've found yourself here, you've just discovered a well of terror. So warm your bones by the fire. Settle in for the night as I spin you a dark and curious tale. I'm Abbess Kara, and you're listening to Midnight Tragedy Theater. This tragic episode involves a young heiress and her friend whom experienced the supernatural within the secluded hills of West Virginia, whereby atop the hill sits an 18th century Victorian mansion, rich in its history. Tonight's episode is titled Mile Marker 67, Wellsgoff Manor. I think we're lost. This road doesn't look familiar to me.
Let's stop and ask for directions. I think there's a gas station up ahead.
Oh, good idea.
Could you tell me the way to Old Wellsgoff Manor?
Say, why would you and girls want to go up to that place? Ain't nobody up there. Nobody's lived there for 10 years or better. Nobody should be messing around that place.
I inherited the old place from my great-grandmother.
What's yin's grandmother's name?
My grandmother's name is Trellis. Joan Trellis.
Trellis? Well, yins are on the right road. Just keep driving about another 5 miles. There'll be a long, dark road on your right. There'll be a sign. Yins girls, be careful now. Driving around in this weather? It ain't safe.
Thanks.
Reach the
You're listening to WWVI Up to the Minute News. A third accident this year on County Road 8 was reported yesterday near Sistersville, West Virginia. Authorities say the accident left 4 dead, and the same stretch of road has now claimed a total of 43 people's lives in the past 2 decades. When questioned about the anomaly, Chief Grums from the Hancock County Sheriff's Department stated there were no dangers presented in the area, and Hancock County Department of Roads and Transportation are taking all precautions to ensure safe travel. Grums did report that all 36 accidents occurred at the same mile marker, but he provided no explanation. And in other news today, the Department of Agriculture There, that's it, that's the place. Did you see that sign back there?
See what? I didn't see anything. What sign?
The sign for Wellsgoff Manor. That's it, that's the road. I'll just turn around up here.
How can you see anything? It's terribly stormy tonight. So, what's the history behind this place we're going to anyway?
There's a lot of history behind most of these old Victorian homes in West Virginia, and Wellsgoff Manor is no different. In fact, there are a number of stories surrounding the place, and well, some of those stories are pretty darn spooky.
Spooky? Ew, is it haunted?
Yes, it's haunted.
So, what's the story behind the supposed haunting?
Well, the original owner of the manor, Boris Wellsgoff, was a wealthy farmer from Germany who had settled in a sleepy township less than 5 miles outside of Sistersville, West Virginia. He built the Hilltop Manor for his wife Greta and their 2 daughters in 1752. As I recall from the stories I've heard, during the manor's construction, both Welsgoff's young daughters died mysteriously. First, in the summer of 1752, the oldest daughter, aged 10, Annabelle, went missing while playing on the bank of the Ohio River, never to be heard from again. The townspeople searched for the young girl's body and dredged the shallow banks of the river, but her body was never found. They only found the girl's favorite possession, her broken music box. However, shortly after the child vanished, a construction worker employed by Welsgoff mysteriously disappeared without collecting his pay. At the time, the drifter was suspected of murdering the young girl. However, nothing came of their suspicions. After the grief of losing their eldest child, Boris and Greta continued to erect the mansion for their surviving daughter, Edelgard. But less than 1 year after the disappearance of her older sister, young Edelgard, only 4 at the time, had fallen while playing near a stone embankment. And had struck her head. Not noticing the child lying in the road just after nightfall, she was overrun by horse and buggy. They say Welsgoff and his wife never recovered from their tragic loss, even after the birth of their son, Arnold. Upon completion of the mansion, Greta Welsgoff hanged herself in one of the stairwells when the child was just 2. I seem to remember another story about the old mansion. According to the stories I've heard, Nettie Thorne was the daughter of a violin maker that had accumulated his wealth with his world-renowned violin design. He had purchased the house from the Welsgoff's only surviving grandson. They say the violin maker's daughter was exceptionally beautiful, so beautiful, in fact, that it has been said that one of her suitors plucked out his own eye as testament that he could never look at another woman. According to legend, Nettie Thorne was eventually betrothed to a young mariner named Samuel Bertrand Claw. But shortly after their engagement in the fall of 1839, he died tragically at sea, and Nettie Thorne Claw never recovered from his untimely death. It's been said that from the day he died, she played her violin in mournful anguish the rest of her days.
She's a witch, she is.
Legend also has it that the townspeople accused the young woman of witchery. It seems as though her sister, jealous of her siblings' extreme beauty and affections, spread vicious rumors throughout the sleepy village that Nettie possessed unnatural powers and practiced the dark art of witchcraft. Soon townspeople swore they had witnessed unnatural occurrences in the young woman's presence. Out of fear, an angry mob rushed the Welsgoff Manor and set it ablaze with the young woman inside. To avoid the agony of being burned alive, she jumped to her death from a 3rd-floor window. Ancestors restored the house after part of it was destroyed by the fire. The people of this town say, on stormy, windy nights, much like tonight, at the stroke of 12, if you listen, you can actually hear her scream and the melancholy sound of a violin playing a mournful song. Some say you can see what appears to be the eerie silhouette of a young woman illuminated in the upstairs window. And yet, others have sworn they've seen flames in that same upstairs bedroom window from which Nettie Thorne Claw fell to her death, and that strange, unexplained fires start mysteriously within the walls of the 18th century manor. Some townsfolk say that anyone who witnesses the ghost of the young beauty or hears her mournful whining on the violin will die a mysterious death by fire within the year. Sounds silly, and yet the old caretaker of the place did burn to death tragically on the manor grounds. I remember when I visited my grandmother, he used to warn me, stay clear of that 3rd floor. Of course, as a small child, I never understood why. I guess I know why now.
Oh, that's silly. Stories of ghosts and ghouls, no one actually believes in things like that.
I wouldn't be so sure. One of my great aunts also died in a fire when she was very young in the manor. No one ever knew how the fire originated, but my grandmother said her sister's body was so badly charred, the family was forced to hold a closed casket service for her.
Well, either way, that's just creepy.
Southeast Division. Located.
Connect aware pack with 6-4.
759, copy, I'll put you on it.
Patrol 32 boy, can you put me out on the scene of the accident?
Was it mile marker 67 again?
Yes, sir. Right in front of the old Wells Golf place. Mile marker 67. How did you know that?
Say, did anybody get a hold of their parents yet?
Not yet, Chief. The one girl's dead and the other one is pretty banged up and seems out of it. And we're still searching for a small female child about the age of 5.
Well, hopefully she'll come around.
Yeah, it's kinda weird, Chief. I couldn't really understand her too much, but she kept saying something about a horse and a buggy, and a little girl standing in the road. She said that's what caused her to swerve from the road and caused the accident. We'll start searching the premises for the little girl.
There's no little girl, Dumfrey.
Sir?
There's no girl, just like there's no horse and buggy. There's no little girl. Just, call their parents, Dumfrey. I'll deal with the damn media.
Oh, 2 clear.
Right, you received.
6-9.
2343.
I pray for your nightmares, and I do hope that you've enjoyed this evening's terrifically tragic tale. Join me next week here, within these unforgiving walls, at Grathstone Castle, and I'll promise to scare you just a little. Boris, show our guest to his room. Boris, the shovel.